Here are the differences I noticed between the 1990 book and the 2023 graphic novel of Babysitter's Little Sister, Karen's Birthday. Karen doesn't mention the previous circus that she went to. The only circus animals that get mentioned are horses and poodles. The original book mentions elephants and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. The circus doesn't mention having clowns. Instead of thinking, that's the kind of stuff you know when you're almost 7, Karen says it out loud. Mom hands Karen the phone. In the book, Karen shouts, "I'll get it," when the phone rings, and she answers it herself. Dad doesn't tease Karen on the phone by asking if he's talking to the right Karen. Karen says she got presents for her birthday last year. In the book, she lists every single present she got. Typical Karen. In the book, her school field trip includes a trip to McDonald's. The graphic novel removes the first 2 pages of the book's chapter 4, where Mom tries to follow up on the conversation about Karen's birthday, now that Karen's had some time to cool down. Karen interrupts and says they'll talk about it on Monday, which doesn't happen. Karen's list of problems no longer includes the time Daddy wanted to take her to Washington, D.C., but Mom didn't want her to go, and now I'm really curious. I want to hear more about that story. Karen makes a wish list of 212 items with no problem. In the book, she struggles to think of so many things. Karen's parents have a fight over her list. In the book, it's a concerned phone call, not a fight. Mom and Dad fight when they take Karen to the car. The book tells us what they fought about, while the graphic novel does not. In the book, the fight has a more pleasant ending, where Mom and Dad say goodbye to each other. The graphic novel removes the part where Karen goes to the doctor's, gets a bandage, and shows off her injury to the other kids at school. In the book, Karen goes into way more detail about Hanny's wedding plans. Chapter 5 of the graphic novel tells the story of how Karen named her pet rat. That story is not in the book. Karen's party invitation underlines the word ever, while in the book she underlines Karen is turning 7. In the book, Karen writes things on the backside of her party invitation. Karen can clearly hear her mom and dad fight on the phone because they're being loud. In the book, Karen hears them because she's purposely spying on Mom. In the book, Karen sends party invitations to her mom and Seth, which results in a second phone call fight between Mom and Dad. This isn't in the graphic novel. Karen wants privacy during her call to Christy, so she takes the cell phone to another room. In the book, Karen forces Mom to leave the room to give her privacy. Christy is nicer. She says Karen begging for presents is a little tacky. In the original, she says it's so tacky. Karen cries after her call with Christy. In the book, she dresses up in her pajamas and sings a sad song to herself until she falls asleep. Page 80 is unique to the graphic novel. It's a scene where David Michael laughs at Karen for falling over. The end of Nanny's speech to Karen is changed. She emphasizes that Karen's parents have new partners, and bringing them together would hurt feelings. In the original, she says Seth and Elizabeth would feel uncomfortable around each other, and she emphasizes that it's a bad idea. Karen is satisfied with Nanny's speech. In the book, she's less satisfied. Mom overhears Karen talking to Seth. In the book, Seth has to repeat the conversation for Mom's benefit. Andrew asks for help with Kay. In the book, he asks for help with Karen's, so it's more of a surprise that he's working on something for Karen's birthday in the graphic novel. The graphic novel leaves out Karen planning all of her outfits for all 3 parties. The graphic novel leaves out Karen making and sending invitations for the circus party. Karen's special school clothes are completely different. Karen is not mad that Mom brought Andrew to the school party. Mom doesn't bring juice to the school party. Ricky doesn't blow a party blower in Karen's face. Mom and Karen wear different outfits to the party at home. The party at home has actual hors d'oeuvres. In the book, it was potato chips. In the book, the birthday cake has decorative flowers. Karen doesn't brag about how she did a great job when she pretended to be surprised by her presence. The tiger flashlights are changed to sword flashlights. The elephant act is replaced with poodles. The clowns are no longer cowboys who shoot each other. Hanny doesn't have a conversation about ice cream at the circus. In the book, Karen goes into detail about her gift from Hanny. The graphic novel delays chapter 10 for a few pages. It should start when the circus ends. Instead, it starts when Dad asks about family presents. Karen talks to her dad on page 140. That's halfway unique to the graphic novel. The book gives a summary of this conversation without giving any specific dialogue. Dad and Mom both give Karen a big hug in the last chapter. She gets no hugs in the book. Mom and Dad talk until bedtime. In the book, Dad's phone call to Mom is much shorter. Karen gets a book about a T-Rex eating a burger. In the book, she gets a copy of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In the book, Mom and Seth interact with the Thomas kids. In the graphic novel, the adults only interact with each other. Those are the changes I noticed, 50 of them. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like the graphic novel had nastier fights between Mom and Dad. I was expecting the fights to be a little tamer in the graphic novel.